My name is Andrew Daniel. I'll be your host today, and I am the director at the Center for Cinesomatic Development, where we do something called cinesomatics, and that is the home of a lot of the philosophy that we translate into somatic meditation. So cinesomatics is a philosophy, an approach, a modality where we use video and movement to help you see and uncover the somatic archetypes, the stories that hold you back, the mythologies that narrate your life. And we do that not through anything woo-woo or through anything analytical or talking, but through movement of your body. And then we play a recording of your movement back, so you get to see these things for yourself. So the somatic meditation we're doing today is based off of these similar principles of getting out of the head, getting into the body, feeling, making new choices, etc., etc., etc. I am the author of this book, Awaken to Your True Self. There you get to see my name. There you go. And a lot of these principles are found there as well. But what are we going to be doing today? Just going to minimize that there. Bring this up here. What are we going to be doing today? That's a good question. It's a good question. Today, we're going to be doing a somatic meditation based on peace. So today is going to be about peace. How do we find peace not only in our life, but in our own body? Somatic meditation is an approach to meditation where we use the body to get out of the head rather than the mind to get out of our head. And what I've discovered is that it's not our thoughts alone that create our reality. Thoughts are important. Thoughts and the mindset is very important. But what people don't realize, and what none of the teachers are teaching, is that that's only one step of the process. The thing that matters the most in actuality is the body. Why the body? Because the body is the part of our beingness that is in time and space. Our body is the thing that is the home and the vehicle to the mind and the interface into the material world, right? If I want to lift up this glass, take a sip of water, I have to use my body to do that. Pretty simple to understand. A step further in this realization is understanding that the configuration of our psychology, our emotions, our energy, that resides within the body, a field within the body. But for our purposes here, the body. So you don't need esoteric powers. You don't need to be a psychic. You don't need to be a scientist with cutting-edge MRI tools or anything like this. All you need to do is to be able to feel the body. The body will reveal all of these things, and it will reveal the truth of all of these things. Not only will it reveal these things, but it is also the door to shifting them, to changing them. And so our somatic meditation practice gives you a small dose of both of those things. We're going to be having an awareness of what's happening in our body that translates to what's happening in our life. And then you'll also have a dose of being able to shift, being able to change those things within the body. Leave me a comment here on my video. Please let me know. On my end, it looks really choppy, but that could be me. Please let me know how it looks for you. Moving around, clear, looks good, no choppy, great, okay, perfect. Great. Thank you very much. All right. If anything acts up, as you can see, we got a whole lot of system going on here. If anything acts up, just leave me a comment. I'd appreciate it. All right, so that is a gist of somatic meditation. What we're going to be doing today, as I mentioned earlier, is around peace. So let's talk a little bit about what peace is, and then we'll get into it. Sound good? So, what is peace? We can think of peace in a few ways. One way is the absence of war. Right? The absence of war, of conflict. We can think of it as the absence of drama, the absence of noise. Or we could think of war and drama as the absence of peace. Now, which way you look at this is going to define your reality. Probably never really thought of it like this. But if you look at life, if you look at peace as the absence of war or drama or suffering, you will see life, you will see peace as our default. You will see that peace is closer to the inherent nature. But if you look at war or noise or conflict being the absence of peace, you will see the baseline of life being struggle, conflict, suffering, etc. These are the people that have a philosophy and an outlook on life, an approach to life, that's survival of the fittest, dog-eat-dog world, a war is inevitable. All of these kind of things is the mentality of people that see the world through the lens of its base operating level, conflict. So what's going to happen in that kind of life is you're going to have to do things to create peace. These are the people that grew up at home, and there's always fighting, there's always conflict, there's always drama, there's always pain, there's always suffering. And then you would have the moments of love and kindness and joy and play and fun come in. This philosophy leads us to having to do things to add to our life to create peace. And if we are not vigilant, perhaps if we were not hyper-vigilant, war, conflict, strife, suffering will start coming up from the surface. And the peace is almost a suppression blanket to keep all of that pain, suffering, conflict, strife out, down. So that's going to be somebody who sees life as taking a lot of work to have peace. For now, we're speaking to the individual, to the local level. There's a whole other set of stuff going on at the collective level and the nature of humanity level. But for now, we're talking about your life, my life, our family. Now let's switch this. Let's switch this around to the other way, that peace is our natural state. Peace is the default level of being. This brings a whole different approach to life. This tells us that all we need to do is to stop suffering, to stop the drama, to stop the noise, to stop the conflict. This approach to life is a cessation. It is a stopping. It is an undoing. This approach to life will get you peace with a lot less work. Because how peaceful is it to be hypervigilant all the time to ensure that the drama and the fighting and the chaos and the suffering doesn't come back up? Not very peaceful. You can have momentary peace, but it's always this impending, right? There's always going to be this impending conflict in war and battle coming up. Is this all making sense? This two fundamental ways in the order we're defining what peace is in relationship. Hold on, my sensor's going wacky over here. Great. So, how does this relate to ourselves and our body in the somatic meditation? If inside your body you are operating from a place of suppression or avoidance, if you are operating from a place of fear and anxiety, if you are operating from a place that you have to control yourself, right? There's all these control mechanisms that you have to add on. There's all these safety constraints. There's all these suppression and walls you have to put up, right? You're going to be living a life where you're spending so much energy, all the subconscious and even conscious energy, censoring yourself, containing yourself, controlling others, controlling yourself, managing things. It's a life of tremendous amount of effort and vigilance and work to ensure your peace. Obsessive compulsion, all of these kind of things. So today we're going to explore this in the body and see if we can start shifting that energy, start shifting your perspective to being one of peace is the natural layer. Peace, stillness, silence. That is the background radiation of the universe. That is the base level. Your healing from that place is going to look 180 degrees different than a place of your nature being broken, unlovable, undeserving, undesirable, not enough. Your entire approach to healing, therapy, transformation, spiritual awakening, business, relationships is going to look very, very different. Doesn't mean that there's no work to do. Does it? Nope. What the hell was that? I got a ghost in the machine somewhere. All making sense. So, very, very simple sort of understanding, but very different living it. It's very different thing actually embodying this stuff. And this is the somatic aspect of this work, is that it's one thing to know. It's one thing to have this understanding up in your head. It's a completely different thing to have it embodied, to be in your body, resting in this knowing, living your life from this place. That's the difference between somebody who's studied this for 20 years and isn't getting anywhere versus somebody that's living it every day, every moment of their life. Perhaps imperfectly, but they're living it. The results show it. And this goes back to understanding the body is the place of manifestations. The results you're getting in your life, how you feel chronically on a day-to-day basis, what your relationships look like, what your business looks like, what your work looks like, what your family life looks like, what your home looks like, what your bank account looks like. That is a reflection of the truth of what you're actually embodying. So, somatic meditation is a way, a very gentle, easy way to start getting in touch or to continue a practice of being in touch, of feeling these things, of embodying not only greater healing, but higher functionality. All right, so that's the introduction. There was a lot in there. Leave me some comments or hearts. Let me know if you found that interesting or valuable or stupid. However you saw it, let me know in the comments. And we're going to settle in here and take a few breaths and start our practice. Got a lot of lights here, so it gets a little warm. All right, so we're going to take 3 deep breaths from the belly, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Place your feet on the floor if you're able to. Socks or shoes, fine. Bare feet, even better. If you can't do it, that's fine. Just imagine your feet on the ground. All right. Excellent. So the first thing that we're going to look at is tension. I want you to go inside. If for now you need to close your eyes, that's okay. As you advance in this work, you're going to want to keep your eyes open and stay connected to the space while you go inside. But if that's too intense for you for now, that's okay. You can close your eyes, keep them open if you're able to. But bring your attention inside. There's nothing magical here going on. It's just your attention. Do not overthink this. Keep it very simple. Just bring your attention into your body. And just have a quick feel. Do not do a mental, heady scan, right? This is not an analysis. We want to get out of our head and into our feeling. You can picture things. You can hear things. You can taste things. You can smell things. You can feel things. That's all fine. But see if you can do it from the body, without having to go up in the head to process anything. So what you don't want to do is to go in your body and look around and then come back into the head and analyze it. No analysis, no judging, no meanings, nothing. We're not there. All you're simply going to do is be aware of it. If those things do come up, just be aware of them. Last thing you want to do is start judging the judging. Judging all of that, beating yourself up. Just let all of that go. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just follow the instructions. Let it be easy. So go inside. As you're in here, just feel around for any tension. Now, what may be helpful is to create tension and then let that tension go as a form of contrast. So if you're unable or you're just a little stuck in finding tension in your body, this could be a good way to use contrast to find out. So you're adults here. I do not usually do a lot of hyper guiding. Holding a space here for you to explore for yourself. I'll provide some guidance. But this is an opportunity for you to go inside and explore yourself. You start at your toes, start at your feet, start at your head. Doesn't matter. Whatever feels right to you. And so I'm going to be giving some suggestions, some guidance, some ideas as you do that. So keep going. Keep feeling, keep exploring in your body while I talk. So if you're not finding anything, one of the things to do is to create some contrast. So you can scrunch up your toes, scrunch them in, and then relax them. Right? You can tighten your glutes, relax them. Tighten your shoulders, relax them. Squeeze your fists, relax them. So, let me share what's going on as I do this. So I'm doing this while I'm talking to you. And I'm noticing some tension in my pelvic floor and in my belly. And I notice that's coming from trying to manage my speaking, manage my voice. So you don't have to worry about any correcting, anything like this. You're just becoming aware of the tension. Now, the next step is to go into the tensions and see if you can find anything there. So you want to feel into these tense places, like I just did. And from emotion, from feeling, see if you can listen to what that tension is about. And you may notice that some emotions come up. This is normal. This is fine. This is wonderful. We can assume that when you have tension in the body, there's a conflict. If it's too subtle, if you're still not able to get a sense or a pulse of what's happening in these tension areas, another thing that you can do is to make it more tense, right? So if I have tension in my shoulders, make it more tense and then just stay here. And you stay here and see what the feeling is. What does this feel like? All right, so I'm pulling my shoulders up. Okay, so I'm kind of collapsed in myself in a certain way. As I look at myself, there's almost a hiding going on. There's a constriction. I feel my pelvic floor wanting to tighten and pull up, right? So I'm pulling out of the ground. If I relax it, what does that feel like? Okay, maybe I'm more exposed. Maybe there's a fear that comes up. If I do it in the other direction and force it down, okay, now maybe I'm power tripping on the space. I'm leaving myself, abandoning myself, coming out. So just explore this in your body. Play around with going into the tension even more, and then play around with relaxing, and then play around with maybe going into tension in the opposite direction. And as you do this, just be aware of what it evokes. Observe yourself. You can look at yourself. You can use a mirror. You can just go inside and feel yourself. And so for those of you that don't have any tension, you're not you're not necessarily at peace. You may be, but tension in the body isn't the only indicator. So for those of you who have tension, physical tension in your body, keep exploring that. And you can move to other ones, right? You can pick a new one. Let's say you got 5 tense spots. Just explore each one, right, through the contrast. Through going into it. So if you have no physical tension in the body, our next exploration is going to be looking at imbalance. So there's a few ways to do this. You can just simply look at your body and see if you're crooked, right? If there's any distortions in your body. Your spine is a really good place to see some of these distortions, these out of alignments. Whether it's forward, backward, side to side. Another thing that you can do is just bring your hands up and look at them. Don't do anything special. Just bring them up and look at your default. What are your hands doing? Are they open and out and active? Are they curled, shut down, gripping on to life, gripping on to resentment, holding on to dear life out of fear? Are they shut down like they're in handcuffs? Do they come up high? Do they just sit on your lap? all of these things mean something. They don't mean something as in we give them meaning, but they mean something in the sense that they correlate to something symbolically in your life. Bring up your elbows, right? Is one elbow higher up than the other? Stick your feet out. Look at your feet. Is one pointing off in this direction, the other one going in this direction? Right? That's a conflict, right? This energy wants to go in this direction, and this energy is going in this direction. It's not only biomechanical. If you have injuries, stuff like this, yes, it plays a part. But oftentimes these configurations of your body come from a chronic way of thinking, a feeling, of an energy. So remember, in the introduction of what I said, this is about an undoing. It's about a stopping. In order to find the peace, we let go of the conflict. We stop the conflict. We don't add control mechanisms. We stop the control. We surrender. So if you've been exploring the tension in your body, you're free to also try that example that I just gave of moving the elbows, of moving the feet, of looking at your hands. Take this a step further, and you understand that the right side is the yang, or the masculine principle, and the left side is the yin, the feminine principle. The top of the body is the masculine yang principle, and the bottom of the body is the yin, feminine principle. And the front of the body is the feminine, yin, and the back is the masculine, the yang. So when you have that level of understanding into this, these distortions, these tensions, these imbalances have a completely different meaning. It's no longer, oh, look, my one elbow's this way, or my one hand's this way, or my one foot's this way. You understand that it's an energy that's that way. So if you have your feminine going this way, and then the masculine's going this way, this is an exaggeration of an energy that I have, right? That masculine is wanting to go off into this direction, and the feminine's going in this direction. So what is that going to show? How does that show up in your life, right? So your rational thinking, all of the things around the yang energy, the driving force, the penetrative force, the reason force, the thinking force, the freedom force, is going in this direction in your energy field. And then the feminine is going in this, right? The intuitive, the creative, the opening, the inviting, the receiving, the receptive energy. And so now apply that not only to your internal experience, that part of you is going this way and then a part of you is going that way, and there's a conflict there, you're not at peace, right? That's also going to manifest in your relationships, right? The masculine principle in your relationships is going to go in one direction, the feminine is going in another. Without this awareness, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have strife. There's going to be big issues in your relationships. You will not have peace because this is not in harmony. Why? Because if this is your feet, this is where you're walking in life. Your feet, your legs represent how you move through the world, how you get to your vision. And the hands, right? The hands represent something else. If part of your body's going this way and part of your body's going that way, you're going to have some conflicts. If both aspects of yourself are facing the same direction, you're going to be at peace, right? There's going to be a lot more harmony. There's going to be a lot more coherence in going in that direction in your life. This doesn't mean that direction is good. That doesn't mean that direction is going to benefit you necessarily. But that element, that aspect of yourself, of your body, of your energy, would be in alignment versus not out of alignment. Is this making sense now? I wanted to go through this physical awareness of your body before I talked about this, so you didn't start filtering this extra information through the lens of you looking at this. So we're going to give you a few more minutes to explore this now with this level of awareness. So if you didn't necessarily see or notice or feel anything through the tension, if you didn't necessarily notice or see or feel anything through the differences of your body, then bring your awareness of these energies and dynamics of your life. See if you can see them in your body. This is live. Yes, this is. Nitzen, this is live. Yes. I will say your name so you know it's live. So, take something in your life. Your camera's so sharp like a cinema film. Yes. So I do something called cinesomatics, where we use cinema-grade video to help people see the unconscious patterns that are running them in their life. And so this is some of the equipment. So let's take a few minutes to take something in your life, say a conflict, something that is not at peace. You're not at peace within your life. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a belief, maybe it's something you want to do. Find that feeling. See if you can go into that feeling, right? That conflict, and see if you can explore your body and find where in your body that similar feeling shows up. You can play with it. You can explore it, right? You can make this an exploration. So, for example, you can ignore me, just keep doing your own thing, but we have almost 100 people here, so I want to give some other examples for folks. So keep going. Just tune me out for now if you want to. Remember, you're feeling, you're exploring, you're doing this the whole time that I'm speaking. So, for example, let's say that I felt bound in my life. I felt trapped. I felt like I couldn't actualize myself. How would that feel in the body? Maybe I would be constricted like this. Maybe if I was constricted like this and it also felt like I was angry, I could be doing this. Or perhaps if I felt apathetic, it could feel like this. My hands could just be in handcuffs. I could just be trapped like this. So this is a little introduction to somatic archetypes. But I want you to explore this so you can see how you can translate real conflict or suffering or drama in your life into a sensation, into a feeling, into something in your own body. Use your whole body. Your whole body. Nothing you experience can happen outside of being rooted in your body. Right? Even an out of body experience requires you to have been in your body to be out of it. Right? You don't feel your emotions over there. Right? Feel them in your body. You don't think over there in the house over next to you. Right? Your thinking is here. As you feel this, if you're ready to, I invite you to make a new choice. If you're working with tension in your body, that new choice is going to be relax. It's going to be soften, surrendering, breathing out, right? Letting go of that tension in your body. You do this enough times throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months, that's going to translate to a letting go of that tension in your life. You can start with the body. If you don't know what it is in your life, if you don't know how to make a new choice in your external experience of life, you can make that choice internally, and that'll start shifting that energy into your manifested daily life. If you were working with an imbalance, see if you can bring balance into that part of your body, right? If your hands were like this, right? See if you can, what it feels like to bring one down here. What does it feel like to have the masculine come down and meet the feminine? Or what does it feel like for the feminine to come up and meet the masculine? It's two different energies, right? It might be your parents' dynamic, right? That your dad never came down to meet your mom where she was. Or maybe your mom never rose up to show up bigger in her life to meet your dad. Whatever it is, right? There's could be 1,000 reasons for this. This is just an example of how this in your body translates to your life experience. And the third one, if you were using a conflict in your life and then looked for it in the body, see if you can make a new choice. What would peace look like in your body? Right? Instead of this, how could it feel peaceful? Well, maybe I just open it up. Okay. All right. All right. Now maybe I'm floating more on a boat or something. Again, this is not meaning These are the highest functional ways of being. Right? This is not meaning we're fixing, solving anything. We're just exploring. We're just meditating on what a new choice would feel like and look like in our bodies and in our life to bring us to this peace. And remember, it's all going to be a stopping. So if you're making a choice inside your body and it's requiring you to construct more things, to add more layers, to be more convoluted, that's probably not the direction to go into. However, there may be something called a reverse wiring. That's outside the scope of this call as we wrap up here. But a reverse wiring simply means that doing the opposite is the right way, and doing the other opposite is the wrong way. So it's a reverse wiring. It means when you feel like you're doing it right, you get the wrong result. And if you go inside and feel like you're doing it the wrong way, and it gets you the right result, that's an internal reverse wiring in your energy and nervous system. So as this is just a public meditation, I can't share if that's the case for you, but these are something to be aware of, to explore. None of this is a one-size-fits-all. All right, we'll give you one more minute to wrap this up and explore. Remember, you must have a movement. Right? There must be a change in your physical body. Your nervous system must be in a different place physically for this to work. For this meditation, at least. And remember, do not think about this. Do not analyze it. Do not solve it. Do not do any of this. You simply feel it, listen to it, look at it, pay attention to it, and then make a new choice. Do something different. See how that feels. What does that look like? What does that change? It could feel better or it can feel worse. Either is okay. It's not about feeling good. It's about feeling. If you want to learn more about that and all this stuff, it's in my book, Awaken to Your True Self. The whole point is to feel. It's to get information. It's to listen. It's to get into relationship with yourself and all of these aspects of yourself. Later on, you can do something with it. But right now, in this meditation, it's simply being present to it. It's simply being aware, exploring, playing. And this is a great approach to your life. The more in harmony you can get within yourself, the more peace you will have. The more conflict and noise and drama and avoidance that you can stop inside, the more at peace you will be. The more stopping of the tension, the more at peace you'll be. So even though we're doing more stopping, in reality, you're expending less energy. It's going to feel like you're doing a lot more stuff at first. Keeping yourself in balance and all of this stuff. And it does. It does take more conscious willpower at first because you're going against decades and decades of neural pathways that have been formed to form new ones. But in the big scheme of things, what you're actually doing is less. Peace requires less energy than suppressing conflict. It's a really good way to summarize this. All right, so let's conclude with 3 breaths together. Inhale and exhale. Excellent. Well, this concludes the meditation part of our call today. I will stick around for a few more minutes to answer any questions, have a discussion. Please share your experience here in the comments. I see we have some comments already that I will go over. Sharing your experience is a great way to move yourself forward and also move us all forward, because something may have come up for you that didn't come up for somebody else, but it is still helpful for them in their lives. So if you feel like sharing, that would be very beneficial to everyone. If not, that's okay. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to stick around again for a few more minutes here. I see there's some questions and comments, and I'll get to those now. If you're off, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Andrew Daniel, the author of this book, Awaken to Your True Self. Where are we going to go here? Awaken to Your True Self, Why You're Still Stuck and How to Break Through. And the director at the Center for Cinesomatic Development, where we do all of this stuff times about 1,000. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at some of the questions here. Your camera's so sharp. Yes, all right. Yep, thank you very much. Let's see, Sandy says, I was thinking about money to see if there's conflict and found my energy grabbing. Fascinating. You had no idea. Thank you very much for the donation. Yeah, so one of the things that we do in cinesomatics is called a somatic archetype. It's the second intro session that I offer for my private clients. And what we do is a set of 6 of the basic somatic archetypes. And you can check these out if you would like at cinesomatics.com, cinesomatics.org, it's .org, cinesomatics.org. Just a bunch of free videos there that you can see demonstrations of this stuff, because you have to see it and you have to experience for any of this to really make sense. But on that second call, the archetype assessment, what we do is these 6 basic archetypes of giving, receiving, making money, spending money, generosity, and selfishness. And so what I discovered is that our mind up here has its definition of things in life, right? We have an internal way to represent concepts in life. If I say, think of a pie, think of grandma, think of the ocean, there's going to be an image, a smell, a taste, a sound, a feeling, an emotion associated to that. And that's how we represent an symbolic thing internally. Well, the discovery was really seeing that we have not only an internal representation of that in our mind through our language, but our body has its own representation, what I call a somatic representation. And we represent these things through the body. And that representation may or may not match and align with how we think about it. So, for example, if in my mind I picture myself as happy and joyous and giving, but then I say, all right, what does that feel like in the body? And I go like this. No, it's like, whoa, that immediately does not feel like it matches that mental definition, that image we have of ourselves. And so through that process, we get to discover what somatic archetypes are actually running you, or actually running somebody. And so when you talk about a money conflict, this is something that we would say, all right, so use the body to show me making money, spending money, saving money, giving money, all these things around money. And through that body exploration, you will discover the truth of your real relationship to money. Not the one you think you have, not the one where you go around thinking, I'm so abundant and generous, and you have $50 in your bank account and you don't give any money to anybody. That's a conflict. There's a distortion. But what did I say in the beginning of the call? Is that it's the body that tells the truth. It's the body that's in time and space. It's the body that reveals how you actually manifest things in your life. So it's going to be the body and the physical manifestations that tell the truth of how you're actually showing up in your life and relating to these things internally and externally. And this saved my life. I mean, this awareness, because in my head, I had an image of myself that was completely different than the results I was getting in life and how people actually saw me in the world. And so cinesomatics is a groundbreaking, life-changing, very confronting, advanced process where you can see this stuff for yourself on the video. So Sandy, what you explored there is right in alignment with some of the stuff that we do. And then further on after the meditations. So the meditations are an introduction, they're a practice where you can explore this stuff. Doing the cinesomatics, you actually get to see what that looks like, grabbing the money. All right, what does the grabbing money look like? Oh, maybe it's a desperation. Maybe it's a neediness. Maybe it's a fear you're never going to have enough. We don't know. We don't know exactly until we look at it. But those are some generalizations of what we can assume, right? I've done this thousands of times. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people have done this process. And you start to see patterns. You start to see, oh, okay, this feeling, this energy is associated to this. All right, so what you explored there, Sandy, was awesome. And you got to reveal something that you had no idea was in there. All right, what else? Nitson said you said you have to move your body. Can you explain, please? Came in late, but you're curious. Okay, so life.
Fantastic.
Nope, cancel. Hey, Sonos, stop. Smart, but not smart enough. So life is about moving. If you're not moving, if you're not growing, if you're not expanding in some way, in some form, you're stagnating. And stagnation is death. There's no not moving. If you're not moving, you're dying, you're decaying, you're regressing. You're either going forward or you're going backward. Why? Because even if you stand still, the universe, life, is moving forward. So you're going behind. You're falling out of the flow of the Tao. Look at the universe. Science, astronomy, all of this shows us that everything is expanding and moving all the time. The physics, chemistry, everything is moving. The atoms, everything is moving. So when you move in the body, it reveals these energies that are in there. And so you can make a pose, but what do we call what do you call people that pose? We call them posers, right? It's faking it. You can look like you're great and wonderful and happy here, but if you start moving, right, you can't sustain the faking, right? You cannot sustain the posturing, the image through the movement. So the moving is a way to not only reveal the truth of what's really going on, but it's also the doorway into shifting it, into changing it. So that's why we have to move, because that movement is going to reveal and rewire the nervous system. All right. Let's see. I really relate with somatic work, but it's been very hard for me to feel into my body that way, even with a therapist. So one of the things that we specialize in is helping people get out of their head and into their body, into feeling. To start moving through life from the body, from feeling-based awareness, rather than being in their head, looking down, thinking, analyzing, anxious, avoiding all of the time. So we have techniques and processes and methods that are the top of the field to help you with that. So if you're interested, we can definitely help with that. One of the sort of easy tricks is to look down. Right, your body's down here. If you notice yourself being asked to feel, and you're going up here, you're actually thinking about it. Right, your body's not up there. That's your mind. That's your thought. So that's a really good life-changing trick that you can just practice and just start going inside and look for the answers down here, literally with your eyes, rather than up here all the time. Change your life, change my life, change hundreds of people's lives. So that's what we help with. If it's a really hard case, we got plenty of other things to help with it. Go to my YouTube channel and you will see a video of a man that was doing excessive blinking. Watch that video, and that'll be very helpful for you because it'll show you. This was a session I did with a client. He gave me permission to post this, but he had a life-changing breakthrough because everything that he thought he was doing with his mind and his eyes wasn't. So you can go watch that on the YouTube channel. It'll be obvious which one it is. I think that'll be helpful for you. All right. When is your next book coming? It's going to be a while. I've just been so fortunate and blessed with work with my private clients and all of the stuff that the book writing has been on the back burner. So it'll be a while. I think Reclamation of Allowing will be the following book. The next book I'm going to write is going to be on cinesomatics to explain this stuff to people because I think that's much more important and going to be a lot more helpful. That should be out sometime this year. All right. What is cinesomatics? That sounds wild. So, as I said earlier, cinesomatics is where we use video like this. We can do it over Zoom. That's professional grade cinesomatics, or we can do cinema grade, which is using this level of equipment, as some of you commented on. And we use this cinema grade equipment to record movement. So we do workshops and group work and private sessions, intensives, things like this. And we record your movement. So it could be dancing. It could be on a slack line. It could be shaking your hands. It could be doing some of these somatic archetypes in private or in groups. And so we film these very specific movements. Then we play the video back, and then you get feedback. And you get feedback through feeling, not through a mental analysis, not through an intellectual, heady, academic way of going through a checklist and saying, yes, right? Not like that. I go into feeling. I'm in my body, and I'm feeling all of the subconscious data that's coming through your movement. And then I reflect back to you through feedback what's really happening. The truth of what's happening. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It's not should or shouldn't. It's not anything like this. It's simply a reflection. What makes it really magical is that you then have the video of you moving in your body to see it for yourself. So it's not just blindly trusting a therapist or a guru or a healer or a coach anymore. Not only do you get the expert feedback from facilitators, but you get to see it for yourself in the video, in your own body. So this is very helpful for people that like to con themselves, that like to con the therapists, that are just lying to themselves about everything, or are oblivious to what's going on, or perhaps aren't fully trusting of other people or what they're seeing or themselves. And so there's this evidence, right? It's right there in front of you. If I say, all right, well, do you see how this feels very manipulative? Do you see how this feels like you're playing small and hiding out and shutting down? Whatever it is. It's emotional, it's psychological, it's financial, business, intimacy, sex, relationships, your spirituality, the whole thing, all of that gets revealed through the way you show up in your body. As above, so below. How you do one thing is how you do anything. The way you move and show up in your body is how you move and show up in your life. So, that's the 4 or 5 minute explanation of what cinesomatics is. And so what we're doing here is somatic meditation is an introduction to that. It is something that is very approachable, where we're not doing deep therapy. It's not super confronting, and it's something you can practice daily. And there's just many, many, many different approaches of getting out of your head and into your body, of getting quiet, of getting still, through the body rather than the mind. So, what else we got here? Sandy says, I imagine it's your awareness that allows you to see what happens in others' bodies and to explore openly what things mean. Yeah, so in order to actually facilitate this work, it requires the facilitator to have done it themselves already. So most therapy out there, or coaching, or psychology, or psychiatry, or whatever the hell it is, almost none of that requires your practitioner to have actually done the work for themselves, on themselves already. So there's a lot of people out there that are completely dysfunctional that are helping other dysfunctional people. And it can serve, right? There's a place for that. It's absolutely better than not helping anybody. But when it comes to this particular work, in order to see this subconscious data, in order to see this energy, you can't have that energy running you, yourself, because it filters it. So, for example, if I was codependent and it ran me, and I had a client come in and they were being codependent, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's great. That's so wonderful that you're rescuing each other. It's so nice you care about each other. So I would not be able to see it because that thing is running me. It's preventing me from seeing what's happening for that person. So in order to actually see these things at this level, it requires the purification, the healing, the transformation, the transmutation. It requires a lot of, well, for me, let me put it this way. Other people may have started a lot more functional than me, but for myself, I was homeless twice. I had no money. I was in poverty. I mean, I was completely dysfunctional. So it took me years and years and years to be able to get here and to facilitate this. But it's not like I was born with any magical powers. This was all stuff that through this process I was able to develop and to unlock and to heal. And so I was not able to facilitate at this level and to help people in their lives until my life started working. I tried to, and it did not work. I tried to in my 20s. I tried, and it just did not work because I didn't have this embodiment piece. I had to embody this stuff. I knew it up in my head, but I was not embodying it and getting those results in my life. So. That's my filler word. So. Kat says, first experience of somatic meditation, it was interesting. Even I didn't understand the logic behind what you told us to do, but my tensions have already eased. Great. Excellent. The more you do it, the more you explore, the more you practice, the more it'll make sense. If you go to cinesomatics.org, just Google cinesomatics, there's all sorts of explanation up there. It's the center's website, and there's a bunch of free videos. Nothing up for sale there. Just information. It'll help a lot in understanding what this is really about. But I'm so glad your tensions have eased. So keep that practice up. So whatever tensions eased for you during this call, during this meditation, continue those in your life. So go out into your life. Whenever that tension comes up, just do the same thing. Practice that. Practice that. See if you can go deeper. See if you can get to the root of it. See if you can find what the story is in that. And if you can penetrate that story, it'll just dissolve. And then you're not going to have to be consistent with the easing of the tension, because the underlying energy behind it will be integrated. But until then, just keep doing this, and you'll find that whatever that eased tension in your body correlates to in your life, you'll start notice that changing in your life. It might be, if it's a very, very specific thing in your body, it might be a very, very specific thing that shifts in your life. So just pay attention. You might start seeing that. All right. Well, I went more than 5 minutes over. I went about 20 minutes over. Let's wrap up. So, will you be posting this meditation? Yep. All these meditations will be posted on my Clips channel. I have 2 YouTube channels. One's my main channel, and then I have a separate Clips and Replays channel. All of these will go up on the Clips and Replay channel. We're just starting, getting back into the flow of things, and we got about 2 other meditations up there already. So as we move forward, we'll get them a bit more refined and tight, and edited up there, and so you can just go back and pick and choose and play it anytime you like. All right, well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys for showing up and for doing this somatic meditation together. All nearly 100 of you. Thank you very much. I hope you found value. Please be sure to follow me here on Insight Timer, and do all those things that you do. We'll be doing more of these. I'd like to do them at least once a week, and we'll be seeing you soon. All right, once again, my name is Andrew Daniel, the author of this book, Awaken to Your True Self, and the director at the Center for Cinesomatic Development. I am not on social media, so this will be the place to find me, or on my email list. You can get some free stuff there, and subscribe to the YouTube channels, because I'll be posting more stuff there. All right, well, thank you guys so much, Kat, Teresa, Nitzan, Sandy. Thank you all for your participation, and have a great weekend.